As the season winds down, we bring you the scores, the hits, and those bang-bang plays in the field. This may be a top 3 highlight from the entire year. Danny Scheller with the amazing play. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And you made a very similar catch when I threw you the can of pop the other day, right? You weren't even looking. I couldn't believe it.
Was really, really thirsty.
It
was really the only good thing to come out of that day for Coon Rapids. That was we'll talk more about that ball game in a little bit, but a lot to get to as we're getting right down to the nitty-gritty, getting excited as we start to talk about playoffs. We're going to start, as we always do, with the baseball team. Last week opened against Maple Grove, and that was a tough one. 4-1 loss. They kept the Crimson to a respectable number, just could not get the offense going, and their losing streak extended to 6 in a row. Well, the Cardinals hosted a pair of border battles on Tuesday and Thursday last week, starting with an evening affair at Wintercrest against the Blaine Bengals. Blaine came in looking to stop their own 2-game skid and keep themselves above the 500 mark. They have a high-powered offense and a stingy defense, so they'd be tough to keep up with. Bengals start the scoring in the top of the second. Carson Tim, with 2 out and 2 on, shoots a flare to left field. Ethan Pettis will score from third. Blaine is on the board. They had 2 more in the third inning. Adam Pooter with a high fly down the right field line. Feared makes a really great play, making the catch and an on-target throw to home, but Cooper Anderson slides in just in front of the tag. Cardinals trailing 4-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Runners at the corners for Colin McCullough. High fly to short right. This throw home, not on target. Mason Myrie is just going to trot home with the Cardinals' first run of the day. It was still a game at this point, but the Cardinals couldn't find any more offense than that, and Blaine's bats got hot in the late innings. This 2-run double by Ty Peterson, part of Blaine's 3-run 6th inning. They had 4 more in the 7th and run away with an 11-1 win.
Well, the Cardinals were back at Sunstrom Field on Thursday facing an even tougher test. The Anoka Tornadoes had won 9 of their last 10 and were coming off a 20-1 rout over Cambridge Isanti. Their offense stayed hot against the Cardinals, but their pitcher was the story. Cardinals going with some rarely used pitchers on Thursday, and while they had their struggles, the defense behind them was also less than stellar. The Tornadoes' offense, you can see they're going to put up crooked numbers in all but 1 inning. They ended up with 12 runs, only 7 of them earned, and it turned out they had enough after the first. Anoka pitcher, you're going to see coming up here, is able to hit the ball well. Yes, more runs for sure. Anoka pitcher Lewis Hertling was hurling an absolute gem. He walked 2 in the first, hit a batter in the second, and that was it. He sent down the last 10 men he faced to complete the no-hitter. And that wasn't enough. Hertling went 4 for 4 from the plate with 4 RBI. It was an impressive performance for that young man, as the Cardinals unfortunately fell by a score of 12-0.
Yeah, it was tough. Not a lot of anything to talk about for the Cardinals.
Nope.
I got a text from Coach Mossy afterward asking that, maybe we don't play that one so much.
I got that one too.
We did get at least one great thing out of that. At the end of a tough inning for Danny Scheller. Danny Scheller, freshman pitcher, comes in, freshman player. He hasn't seen a lot of time on the varsity mound. He struck out the side in his first inning of relief. Second inning was rough. He gave up 5 innings, had a couple of errors, including one on himself. But he ends it with this magnificent play.
It was phenomenal.
And we almost should let it roll out to where he's going to the dugout, because he was
just nonchalantly walked off.
Yep, just kind of hangs his head, knows that. And it was a really, really good play. So at least we got that out of it, and that's what we'll remember most.
That's right.
Even though the pitcher on the other side, very impressive. On Saturday, the Cardinals were up in Duluth, taking on the Greyhounds, a conference rival. They got the bats going, put up 5 runs, but they come up short, losing 7-5. Colin McCullough went 3 for 3 with a double and RBI, a couple of runs scored. Jaden Kopp also and Zach Novak also had multi-hit games. Jared Fearing went 1 for 3 with a walk and a couple of RBI. Danny Scheller also drove in a couple of runs. And we just heard, fresh off the press, they have broken the 10-game. Chample Park on Monday. First, we gotta mention they lost 8-1 to the Rebels, and that extended their lead to 10. But we just found out just before the show,
off the press,
broken the streak, and what a way to do it! They beat the Millers from Washburn by a 7-6 score? 6-5 score.
Nice to get the win.
Fantastic, and I always love to see Washburn on the losing side of the contest at St. Paul Central Thursday to wrap up the regular season. Well, on Tuesday, we're talking softball now. The Cardinals got a visit from an old friend on Tuesday. Coach Zach Nienaber coming to the Cardinals complex for the first time as a visiting coach. His Blaine Bengals were just above 500, but they have an explosive offense that had already gone to double digits 6 times this spring. The Cardinals' offense would have to keep up, and their defense would have to limit the Bengals the best they could. Blaine strikes right away in the top of the first. Bases loaded, 1 out. Emma Edwards delivers a solid single to right. That's going to score 2. Just the start of a great day for her. Cardinals looking to answer in the bottom of the first. Chloe Christie rolls it right back through the box and toward the gap. She'll trade places with Lily McKenzie at second. RBI double cuts the lead in half. 2 in scoring position with 1 out for Maya Ruddy. She's out easily at first, but then the Bengals try to get the runner at second. It gets away, and Christie comes home to tie it up 2-2 after 1. It was all Bengals after that. Edwards helping her own cause again in the third. She went 4 for 4 with 4 RBI at the plate and had the win in the circle. Blaine had 5 runs in the third, added 2 more in the fourth. And this 2-run homer for Emily Vogel, part of a 7-run 5th inning. They racked up 21 hits, 16 runs as they down the Cardinals 16-2.
21 hits. That's incredible. Coach Nienaber sent me a text after the game thanking us for being there, and obviously the connection from a year ago. But said your girls really hit the ball well, and he says, 21 hits. That's pretty good. He'll take that every day.
Yeah, and the Cardinals unfortunately have not been able to find the win column yet. They lost to Anoka on Wednesday last week by a 5-1 score. Then a doubleheader. They really got the offense going in Game 1 against St. Anthony on Saturday, but they came up short 10-9. Then they lose 5-1 in the bottom half, and they close out the regular season with an 0-20 record. Heading into the playoffs, they are the number 7 seed and will travel to take on Andover, the number 2 seed, on Wednesday. Blaine and Duluth East below that. Anoka Cambridge Isani is the 4-5 matchup, and Forest Lake, the number 1 seed, earns the bye.
Yeah, obviously tough draw for the Cardinals. They lost to Andover 10-0 the last time that they played them, so they'll definitely have their work cut out for them. But on any given Wednesday, something can happen.
That's right. You can't lose them all the time, and it's double elimination.
Yes, exactly. Well, the tennis team opened the section tournament at home last week, and deservedly so after a 17-3 season. The Cardinals were the 5th seed in the 14-team bracket, so they hosted 12-seed Osseo, who had beaten Park Center the day before. The 2 teams didn't play this season, but the Cardinals were very confident going into the Battle of the Birds. Sam Maria leading the way. He has the past 3 seasons in the top single spot, and he controlled his match from start to finish. He goes on to win by a score of 6-1, 6-0. One of the closest matches of the day was the second singles court. This is an amazing volley right here. Ryder Held, Nacio's Tim McHugo, both showing their reflexes and athleticism. Held finally getting a winner on the backhand, but Held comes up short overall, losing by a score of 3-6, 2-6.
We haven't gotten to the backhand yet.
We have not. Yeah, there it is.
It's a great volley.
Yep. Trevor McNamara serving for the Orioles at third singles. Cooper Held staying patient on this point. Lets McNamara hit long. Cooper Held wins by a score of 6-0, 6-1. Move to fourth singles. Dylan Anderson in the far court for the Cards. Good volley going on this point with strong ground strokes from both sides of the net, but the Osseo player mishit into the net, ends in Anderson's favor. Another 6-0, 6-1 win for the Cardinals. Well, the Cards just as successful on the doubles court, if not as dominant. Great point at first doubles right here. Cal Jensvold and Joe Savelli outlast the Orioles on this point and take the match by a score of 6-2, 6-1. Blake DeGroat serving at second doubles pretty much takes care of this point all by himself. DeGroat and Peyton Lett win by a score of 6-2, 6-2. Now we're going to move over to third singles. 8th grader Caden Moa and first-year tennis player Austin Hacker got their first varsity win at third doubles, winning 6-4, 6-4. Cardinals are going to move on with a convincing 6-1 win.
As they should, and they've been so strong up and down the lineup. Great to see guys coming in. They get a little nicked up at playoff time.
Yep.
Guys come in not used to playing at the varsity level, and they get win right away. Love to see middle schoolers in the lineup.
Sure.
Unfortunately, on was that Tuesday? So it was Wednesday. They played at Buffalo, and this one didn't go their way. 7-0. I believe all in straight sets. And in a brief conversation with Coach Storick on Thursday afternoon, he said, some guys fell behind and just didn't really handle the pressure as well as they might have liked and play out some points. And now it's just all up to individuals. They'll have the home court advantage for the section tournament. Individual tournament starts at the Pivot Courts on Wednesday. We will have highlights for you next week on Sportsnight. We wish all the guys the best of luck in the section tournament. I know for Sam, whose career we've been able to watch since it began and what a career it's been, he had a goal to really do a little bit better in the sections. I really hope
let's hope so.
We can talk about something really exciting next week.
We're certainly rooting.
Moving right along, track teams did have kind of a friendly triangular. I think it was Tuesday last week. Was not kept. Score was not kept. Really, the last tune-up for the teams before they get into conference and section championships. A good note on the girls' side: Kennedy Martinson back in the lineup, was able to pole vault, and I believe actually won the pole vault. I'm not sure on how she did in hurdles, but exciting to see what she might be able to accomplish. Even after missing most of the season. Northwest Suburban Conference Championships actually started today, Tuesday, and will finish up on Thursday. Those are being held out in Elk River. Section championships will be next week. Boys golf team final Northwest Suburban Conference regular season tournament was last week at Loggers Trail. The Cardinals finished in 12th place. I believe it was ahead of Andover, but I could be mistaken. Caleb King finished with a 79. Oscar Berg right behind him with an 80. DeVries shot an 82. An 84 for Noah Long. So pretty good numbers for the Cardinals as they get ready to host both the conference tournament this week and the section tournament next week.
It's exciting they're able to host it and get it on their home.
And it always has been. And again, deservedly so. Yeah. The gem of Coon Rapids, as it is known, is a great place to host that event. But 5 guys hitting 84 or better for the Cardinals is fantastic.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so even if you look at some of those other teams, and again, they've got guys who are par, or there's a couple in the tournament, I think a couple of guys that were below par.
Right.
Not a lot of guys right within 3 to 5 strokes. There's about 20 guys that are are like a 5 handicap. That you're tough to crack into that.
You're shooting 84 and better though. That's pretty respectable. Obviously, it's
incredible.
Golf is so tough.
Girls golf team also had one last tune-up before this week's Northwest Suburban Conference Championships. They were at the Andover Invite on Monday last week as we were doing the show. Eleanor Defoe, the low round with a 103. Jade Dawson shot a 109. Anna Kelly a 117. Hill and Meyer each shot a 122, and Davis finished with a 124. Cardinals also not last place in that event. They were 19th out of 20 teams. Northwest Suburban Conference Championships for them also at Bunker Hills on Thursday this week. Their section tournament was not listed on the MSHSL's website, so I'm not 100% sure where they're playing it, but I don't believe they're at Bunker. I believe the boys are at Bunker next Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, we'll hopefully have that stuff for next week.
Well,
the results, hopefully, maybe.
The Northwest Suburban Conference, absolutely, 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I thought you were groaning.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll know where the section tournament is.
Oh no, I'm not. It's inconsequential. All we want to know is the scores. It's played some course with like tees and greens and outdoors.
Shapiro, a true sportsman.
Yes. Oh.
All right, moving right along. Boys lacrosse team wraps up the regular season this week. Last week, a couple of conference games on the road. On Tuesday, the Catbirds traveled to Andover to take on a Huskies team just one game ahead of them in the standings. It was a really evenly matched game, and it needed overtime to decide a winner. Catbirds get the momentum early. Eli Bowden feeding Ryan Hexum down low. He scores one of his two in the game, and SLPCR is up 3-1. They played with the lead for most of the first half. Great individual effort right here from Nolan Hazelwood. Works his way out front, hammers it home up top. 6-3 Catbirds at that point. But Andover cut the lead to 1 before the half, and they carry the momentum into the second. Caleb Weichel's goal early in the fourth quarter put the Huskies up 8-6. And they make it 6 unanswered goals less than a minute later. Tristan Klein able to come right down the middle to score to give Andover a 3-goal lead. Catbirds down, but definitely not out. A minute left in regulation. Brody Herzog finds room inside to score and send this one to overtime. And they keep the momentum in the extra period. Watch the play by Hazelwood. Cutting across defenders out front to receive the pass, and then fires on the jump to bury the shot and send the home team's crowd home crying. Nice win for the guys, obviously. 100%.
They certainly needed it.
And it comes at such a huge time with just a couple of games left in the regular season. Give them a little confidence. Let it play a little more loosely.
Well, you always talk about it at the end of the season. You want to try and be playing your best ball, whatever sport you are doing, and this is the time for them to do it.
100%.
Well, the Catbirds are hoping they can carry some momentum from the overtime win into Thursday's contest against Blaine. The Bengals, they're a stronger club, but they're definitely beatable. The SLPCR was coming in feeling a little better off the win and more confident they can play right with teams like this. Blaine had the lead after the first, but the Catbirds roar right back. Good win on the ball for Nolan Hazelwood. He takes it straight to the net. SLPCR putting some fear into the mighty Bengals. Check this one out. Great sweep pass from Ethan Ossie to Nolan Hazelwood. He finds Henry left down low. Just like that, it's all tied up at 3. Beautiful teamwork there. Well, the Bengals had a 4-3 lead at the half, and they start to stretch it in the third. Nice passing play in transition. Robert Cruikshank able to score just before taking a big hit. Blaine up by 3. We're going to move early into the fourth. Coming up here, Russell Theories cuts back, feeds Colin Reynolds. He scores from a long way out. The long pole midfielder adding to the offense, and it turned out to be the game winner. But Catbirds are never out of it. Coming up here, Ossie with a great pass to Ryan Hexum cutting across the front. He delivers and gets it to the back of the net in a 1-goal game. But Blaine's going to be able to seal the deal. Coming up here with good possession, we're late in the fourth. They're going to add a little insurance. Mark Radke able to score on the wraparound with less than 2 minutes left. And the Bengals hold on for the 8-6 win.
Yeah, and even in a loss, though, right with them.
Yeah.
And that says something, and obviously coming off of the win, and that is huge for this team to get a win, as we talked about. Unfortunately, they started their final week with one that wasn't so close, losing to Armstrong Spring Lake Park on Monday night, losing to Armstrong Spring Lake Park. Coon Rapids falls to 2-10. They lost 19-2. Nolan Hazelwood and Tranby had the goals for the Catbirds. They host Totino Grace on Wednesday. The Section 7 tournament will start next Tuesday, and those seedings to be determined. Girls lacrosse team last week facing off against a very tough Rogers team. Dropped that one by a 21-2 score. And there it is. The exciting thing about this is the Griffith Brooke Griffith came back and scored. She came back for the Elk River game, first game of the season, for the captain who was injured for the whole first part of the season. Second game back, she gets a goal. They lose 21-2. Annette Abbott had the other for the card.
I had to do that, sorry.
Of course you do. Kids, Google Hey Abbott.
Hey Abbott!
You'll understand. Or Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just trying to enrich the young kids.
That's right. This is a learning show. It's
I just came from
learning.
the learning annex, so I figured.
You know, you mentioned, everybody wants to be at their best at the end of the season. Clearly, that does not go for broadcasters.
No.
Because
we're
the show,
our worst at the end of the season.
Maybe not the best. Well, on Friday, the Cardinals were on the road against the conference rival, also looking for its first win of the season. Osseo Park Center has had a little more consistent scoring, but identical results. Both squads were fired up for the chance to get rid of the goose egg in the win column. Cardinals will take flight first. Ashley Flynn with a great run into the critical scoring area, goes low and scores. Coon Rapids up 1-0. Cardinals attacking from that left side again. This time it's Annette Abbott, able to beat the defender to the middle and make it a 2-0 lead. Abbott was just getting started with her night again from that left side, getting to the inside on the defender. Her second helped the Cardinals take a 3-2 lead to the half. But Osseo Park Center came fast out of the break, and they've got a number 26 of their own that can get to the greasy areas. Sydney Weiss getting right to the top of the circle not once, but twice early in the second. OPC had 5 unanswered goals, and they took a 7-3 lead. Can the Cardinals cue a comeback? They definitely try. Flynn with a great feed to Brooke Griffith, who turns and scores. Great to see the captain back on the field. Still time for this rally. Abbott gets out front, completes her hat trick, but that's as close as they would get. The Cardinals fall 7-5.
You know, I'll tell you, it's not a win, but the fact that they were competitive and the score was close, that's great, because they've been at the opposite end of that spectrum for most of the year.
And that is how it was on Monday when they took on Centennial. Cardinals losing that one 20-0 and falling to 0-12 on the season. They wrap up the regular season against Andover on Wednesday at home. And then the second round, or their tournament also starts next Tuesday, seedings to be determined.
We're getting close to the end of the season, end of the school year. End of the, I know.
Well, now you said something that really got the kids excited. End of the school year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they tuned in for. We're glad you all tuned in with us this week, especially if you made it all the way through. Well, thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young, saying good night.